Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to another math session where learning math is fun. I am Faithlyn Williams, your teacher for today. In today's session, we will be looking at adding multiples of 10 to numbers less than 10. To begin our session, I want us to look at what multiples are. But you must listen to these scenarios coming up. They will help us to understand what multiples are. Anne, Kathy, and Adrian collected some mangoes for their grandma. They wanted to know how many mangoes they each collected, so they began to count their mangoes. This is how Anne counted her mangoes. Look at the way she counted them, and I want you to call the numbers with me. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Anne counted 20 mangoes. Boys and girls, I want you to look at the way Anne counted her mangoes and tell me what you observe about how she counted her mangoes. Great going, boys and girls. If you said she used counting numbers to count her mangoes, you are correct. Next, we will look at how Kathy counted her mangoes. This is how Kathy counted her mangoes. I want for you to call the numbers with me. Ready? Let's go. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Kathy counted 20 mangoes. Boys and girls, I want you to look at the way Kathy counted her mangoes and tell me if you notice a pattern with the way she counted the mangoes. Excellent, boys and girls. If you said Kathy counted by 2 or she added 2 each time, you are correct. The numbers 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 are multiples of 2. Boys and girls, when you start at 2 and add 2 each time, the numbers you get are multiples of 2. Boys and girls, now it's time to look at the way Adrian counted his mangoes. I want you to look at the way he counted his mangoes and tell me if you observe a pattern. Great going, boys and girls. If you said Adrian counted by 5 or he added 5 each time, you are correct. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 are multiples of 5. Boys and girls, when you start at the number 5 and keep adding 5 each time, the numbers we get are multiples of 5. I hope you are understanding so far. What are multiples? Now, boys and girls, since we know how to get the multiples of 2 and 5, I want us to look at the multiples of 10. I wonder who could tell me what you would do to get the multiples of 10. Excellent! If you said you would start with the number 10 and keep adding 10 each time, boys and girls, that is correct. Now I want you to write down the multiples of 10 and then share them with me. Are you ready? Okay. Tell me what you got for the multiples of 10. Excellent, boys and girls. If you said you started 10 and you got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and so on, you are correct. Now, boys and girls, I want you to notice the 3 dots after 80. This tells us that the multiples of a number goes on forever. Now the red arrow shows the multiples of a number goes on and on. But we will just stop at 80. Because the multiples of a number go on forever, we can say a number has endless multiples. Boys and girls, look at this number line. What do you think the numbers are showing, and how do you know? Great, boys and girls. Before I take your answer, I want you to look at the number line and take careful note of the number that it begins with. Did you notice that the first number is 40? Great. Now, the first number is 40. Now, let us check to see if there is a pattern in getting the other numbers. The second number is 50. I wonder who could tell me what was done to the number 40 to get 50. Great going, boys and girls. If you said the number 10 was added to 40 to get 50, that is correct. Now let's look at the third number. The third number is 60. I wonder who could tell me what was done to 50 to get 60. Excellent, boys and girls. If you said 10 was added to 50 to get 60, you are correct. So boys and girls, have you noticed anything as yet? I wonder if this is the same pattern in getting all the other numbers. Let us check to see. 10 added to 60 gives us 70. 10 added to 70 gives us 80. 10 added to 80 gives us 90. 10 added to 90 gives us 100. 10 added to 100 gives us 110. 10 added to 110 gives us 120. So there we have it, boys and girls. Now, what did you say this number line is showing? Great! If you said this number line is showing multiples of 10, boys and girls, you are correct. The fact that we started with a multiple of 10 and we kept adding 10 each time, this number line is showing multiples of 10. Now, boys and girls, I want you to do one more thing for me. Look at the multiples of 10 shown here on this number line and tell me what you notice about them. In other words, I want you to tell me what is the same about them. Are you ready? Great, boys and girls. If you said you noticed that the multiples of 10 ends with 0, that is correct. All multiples of 10 has 0 in the ones place. Now, boys and girls, now that we understand what multiples are, and we know what are the multiples of 10, we will be adding multiples of 10 to numbers less than 10. Now our first example is 10 added to 5. Boys and girls, we will use a place value mat to help us add these numbers. When we use a place value mat, it helps us to see the value of the numbers that are being added. So we have 5. The 5 is 5 ones. And we have 10. The 10 is 1 10 and 0 ones. Now, boys and girls, let's add the numbers in the ones place. In the ones place, we are adding 0 to 5. 0 added to 5 gives us 5. In the tens place, we have 110. We're not adding any 10 to it. Therefore, we will write 110 in our answer. Now, boys and girls, I want you to read the final answer with me. We have 110 and 5 ones. That is the same as 15. Yes, boys and girls, I heard you clearly. 10 added to 5 is 15. Now, boys and girls, I want you to do one more thing for me. I want you to look carefully at the digits in the answer and tell me what you notice about these digits and the numbers that were added. Are you ready, boys and girls? Let me hear you. Excellent. If you said 5 in the ones place in the answer is the same as the 5 that was being added, that is correct. If you also said the 1 in the tens place in the answer is the same as the multiple of 10 that was being added, that is also correct. Boys and girls, there are other things for you to discover as we go along. Are you in for it? I am in for it also. Boys and girls, let us look at a second example. Our second example is 20 added to 7. Again, we will use our place value mat to help us add these numbers. And remember, our place value mat helps us to see clearly the value of the numbers being added. We have 7 as our first number, and that is 7 ones. So we place 7 in the ones place. Next, we're adding 20 to 7. 20 has a value of 2 tens and 0 ones. So there we have it. 2 in the tens place and 0 in the ones place. Now let's add the numbers. In the ones place, we have 0 added to 7. 0 added to 7 gives us 7. That's correct. And in the tens place, we have 2. We're not adding any tens to the 2 tens. Therefore, we write 2 in the answer. Boys and girls, look carefully at the answer and read it with me. There we have it. We have 2 tens and 7 ones, which is the same as 27. So 20 added to 7 gives us 27. Boys and girls, you are doing so well with this. Soon you'll be able to add multiples of 10 to numbers less than 1 without using a place value mat. Here is our third example. 8 added to 100. Boys and girls, again we will use a place value mat to help us add these numbers. We have 100. 100 on our place value mat, we will place 1 in the hundreds place, 0 in the tens place, and 0 in the ones place. Next we have 8. 8 is 8 ones. Let's now add these numbers. In the ones place we have 8 added to 0 ones. 8 added to 0 ones is the same as 8. Next, in the tens place, we have 0 tens. There is absolutely no 10 being added to it. Therefore, we write 0 in the answer. And in the hundreds place, we have 100. There are no hundreds being added to it, therefore we write 1 in the answer. Now boys and girls, read the final answer with me. We have 100, 0 tens, and 8 ones. That is 108. Yes, boys and girls, you got it. So 8 added to 100 gives us 108. Boys and girls, I want us to look back at the numbers we added earlier. We added 10 to 5, giving us 15. Next, we added 20 to 7, giving us 27. And then we added 100 to 8, giving us 108. Now, boys and girls, I want you to look at the answers and the numbers that were added and tell me if you notice a pattern when we add multiples of 10 to numbers less than 10. Are you ready to share? Let me hear you. Great going, boys and girls. If you said you noticed that when we add multiples of 10 to numbers less than 10, the digit in the ones place in the answer is the same as the number of ones being added, you are correct. Do you know why this is so, boys and girls? Let me help you. Since multiples of 10 has 0 in the ones place, and 0 added to any number does not change the value of that number, it is true to say when we add multiples of 10 to numbers less than 10, the digit in the ones place in the answer is the same as the number of ones being added. Do you notice anything else about the answer and the numbers being added, boys and girls? Great! Boys and girls, if you said the remaining digits in the tens and hundreds place in the answer is the same as the digit in the tens place in the multiples of 10 being added, that is correct. There we have it. Boys and girls, this information makes it easy for us to add multiples of 10 to numbers less than 10. We will try a few as we go along. Are you ready? The first one is 9 added to 40. What is your answer, boys and girls? Great going! If you said 49, that is correct. Let's check. Now, the number 40 has 4 in the tens place and 0 in the ones place. When we add the ones, we are adding 0 ones to 9 ones. 0 added to 9 ones is the same as 9. Now, boys and girls, we have 4 tens. We are not adding any tens to the 4 tens. Therefore, we write 4 tens in the answer. And there we have it. 9 added to 40 gives us 49. Excellent job, boys and girls. And now for the second one. We will add 70 to 2. Are you ready with your answer, boys and girls? Great going! If you said 70 added to 2 is 72, you are correct. If you use the same strategy we used earlier, you would have noticed that in the number 70, we have 0 in the ones place. And 0 ones added to 2 ones gives us 2. And we have 7 in the tens place. We are adding no tens to it. Therefore, we will write back 7 in the answer. And there we have it, boys and girls. 70 added to 2 gives us 72. You are a genius at this, boys and girls. Let us continue. And now for the third one, boys and girls. We will add 5 to 120. What is 5 added to 120? Wow, boys and girls. If you said 5 added to 120 is 125, you are correct. Boys and girls, I want you to notice here, we are just adding 5 ones to 120. Look at the number 120. What digit do you have in the ones place? Yes, we have 0 in the ones place. And if we add 5 ones to 0 ones, we will get 5 ones. So boys and girls, 5 added to 120 will give us 5 in the ones place. There we have it. Now, we have 2 in the tens place and 1 in the hundreds place. We're not adding any hundreds to these. So boys and girls, in our answer, we will have the 1 and the 2 coming back in the hundreds and the tens place in our answer. And there we have it. 5 added to 120 gives us 125. Boys and girls, for your fourth task, I want you to look at this number sentence and tell me what is the missing number. Let's read the number sentence together. 4 added to blank equals 94. Are you ready to tell me what is the missing number, boys and girls? Wow! If you said 90 is the missing number, you are correct. But how did you figure out that it is 90 so quickly? Way to go again, boys and girls. If you said you looked at the digit in the ones place in the answer and realized that it is the same as the 4 ones that was being added, and you got the clue that the number that is missing must have a 0 in the ones place, you are on the right track, boys and girls. If you also said you notice that there is a 9 in the tens place in the answer, and 9 tenths has a value of 90, and that gives you the clue as to what the missing number should be, boys and girls. That is excellent. So there we have it. 90 added to 4 gives us 94. Excellent. Boys and girls, look at this number sentence. Can you tell me what is the missing number? Wow, boys and girls. If you said the missing number is 3, you are correct. But how did you figure out this so quickly? Amazing, boys and girls. If you said you looked at the multiple of 10 and realized that you have 3 and 5 in the 100 place, and that comes back in the answer, that's a great observation. If you also said you looked at the digit 3 in the ones place in the answer and realized that is the only digit that is different, and that gives you the clue that 3 was added to 350 to give you 353. That's another excellent observation, boys and girls. Boys and girls, I told you, you would get this so quickly. Adding multiples of 10 to numbers less than 10 is an easy cheese for you. Let's explore some more. Boys and girls, you are doing so well with adding multiples of 10 to numbers less than 10. I want you to look at this 100 chart and identify the multiples of 10. Are you ready to share? Great going, boys and girls. The multiples of 10 are to the far right on this 100 chart. Let's call them together. They are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And there we have it. The multiples of 10 shown on this 100 chart. Boys and girls, I want you to do something else for me. Look at the numbers that are less than 10 on this 100 chart. And then look at the numbers directly below each of these numbers. Do you notice a pattern? Wow, boys and girls. Let's check to see. The first number is 1. The number below 1 is 11. The second number is 2. The number below 2 is 12. Have you seen a pattern as yet? Let's look at the others. And there we have them. Boys and girls, if you said you noticed that we are adding 10 to each of these numbers to get the number below, that is correct. Boys and girls, we will prove that we are adding multiples of 10 to the number in each column to get the numbers below. To do that, we will choose one number. We will choose the number 8. And now we're going to add multiples of 10 to see if this is true about the numbers below. So the first multiple of 10 is 10. 10 added to 8 gives us 18. You are correct, boys and girls. Now, let's move on to the second multiple of 10. The second multiple of 10 is 20. Now, 20 added to 8 gives us 28. Way to go, boys and girls. And there we have it. The green arcs are showing us 10 added to 8 gives us 18. The second green arc is showing us. And when we add another 10 to 8, which is 20 added to 8, gives us 28. And now we will add the third multiple of 10 to 8. What is the third multiple of 10? Way to go. The third multiple of 10 is 30. So let's add 30 to 8. 30 added to 8 gives us, there we have it, 38, boys and girls. So it is true to say that to get the numbers below in each column, we are adding multiples of 10. Boys and girls, with this information, I know that you're going to do well with the other tasks that are coming up. Boys and girls, I want you to look at this section that was cut from a 100 chart and see if you can use the same pattern that we discovered on the 100 chart earlier to find out what is the missing number. Are you ready to share? Amazing, boys and girls. If you said the missing number is 24, you are correct. Remember now, the pattern that we discovered on the 100 chart is adding a multiple of 10 to get the number below. Now 10 added to 4 gives us 14. And 20 added to 4 gives us 24. So there we have it, boys and girls. The missing number is 24. Boys and girls, here is your next task. Here we also have a section that was cut from a 100 chart. Some numbers are missing. Can you tell me what the missing numbers are? Are you ready with your answer, boys and girls? Great going! If we use the same pattern of adding a multiple of 10 to get the number below in each column, and you said your answers are 15, 26, and 17, you are correct, boys and girls. You are amazing. Boys and girls, here is your next task. Here is another section that was cut from a 100 chart. I want you to tell me what is the missing number in the green square. Boys and girls, are you ready with your answer? Wow! To help us get the answer for the green square, we will use the pattern that we learned about the 100 charts and find out which number should go in the green square. Let's go. 10 added to 3 gives us 13. 20 added to 3 gives us 23. 30 added to 3 gives us 33. 40 added to 3 gives us 43. And 50 added to 3 gives us 53. So there we have it, boys and girls. The missing number is 53. And now for our final task, boys and girls. Here is another section that was cut from a 100 chart. I want you to look at it and tell me what are the missing numbers for the green squares. Are you ready with your answer? Great going, boys and girls. But let me hear the first number for the first green square. Did you say 9 should go in the first green square? You are absolutely correct, boys and girls. So there we have it. 9 should go in the first green square. Now for the second green square. I wonder who has the answer for the second green square? Let us see. Using the pattern where we add multiples of 10 to the number to get the numbers below, that will help us. So let's go. First, 10 added to 9 gives us 19. We have that already. Now we will add 20 to 9. 20 added to 9 gives us 29. And remember, we want to get to the second green square. So we'll add the third multiple of 10 to 9. 30 added to 9 gives us 39. So there we have it, boys and girls. If you said the numbers that are missing from the green squares are 9 and 39, you are correct. Boys and girls, you have done so well with adding multiples of 10 to numbers less than 10. Now here are a few points I want to remind you of from today's lesson. The first point I want you to look at is, what are multiples? If we start counting from a number and keep adding the same number each time, the number we get are multiples of the number we started with. The next point I want us to look at is, multiples of 10 always end with 0. Also, when we add multiples of 10 to numbers less than 10, the digit in the ones place in the answer is the same as the number of ones being added. And the digits in the tens and hundreds place in the answer are the same as the digits in the hundred and tens place in the multiple of 10 being added. Boys and girls, I am so proud of what you have done in today's session. We have now come to the end of our session. Until we meet again, have a great day. Boys and girls, I am so proud of you. You have done well in our session for today. And here we are at the end of today's session. What good until we meet again.